What's up, guys? We are on episode 12. Whoa, we're on episode 12 behind the Golf Brand podcast. This week, I have Brendan McCaudley. Brendan is the founder and CEO of Chippo Golf. I know you guys know what Chippo is because everybody wants one. They are the funnest. It's not even a game. It's like I use it for chipping practice, but it's one of the coolest things you can buy out there right now. I met Brendan at the PGA show at a bar. It's a true story. Actually, it's at Topgolf. And so without further ado, here's Brendan. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Paul. Great to be here.
So where are you at today?
I'm coming to you live from my closet / converted fake office. Been in here now for a few months since the lockdown and a little bit claustrophobic, but getting used to it.
No, that's cool. I'm in a garage, dude. I think I've had everybody everywhere. I've had people in bedrooms. I've had people, pretty much everywhere. I've had people outside. So yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is, right? I mean,
yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, we're all making do with what we have. And it's been an interesting time to live through. And but yeah, everyone's
I love your shirt.
Figuring it out.
Cool. I want that shirt.
Yeah. So this is a Cornhole Golf 20. This is based off of the old campaign. We're in an election year, but the old campaign shirts.
I love that shirt.
Reagan Bush 84 or like Clinton Gore or whatever. So these actually, the story behind these is, maybe we'll talk about this later, but we demand during the lockdown, during quarantine, and leading up to Father's Day for Chippo has been craziest we've ever seen it. And we actually sold out of product. And
Whoa.
So in order to entice people to buy or pre-order for delivery after Father's Day, we sent everybody who ordered one of these t-shirts for free so they can have something to give to their dad or husband. Or
oh, that's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah. But we love these. These are pretty funny.
So weren't you guys, we're going to go clear off script here. So didn't you guys do like a Chippo championship during COVID when the Masters was going on? I thought I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, we did. So we did like a Chippo challenge on Instagram Live. It was a 2-day long competition. We had a lot of people. We had over 20 people do it. It was a combination of just like people in the golf industry that we've met that would become friends with, like a couple of guys over at FootJoy, a couple of like Instagram golf personality types.
Wasn't John doing it? I thought I saw John doing it.
John from FootJoy?
Yeah.
Yeah. He actually won.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, he killed it. And then we also had I would say the biggest name was, there were a couple. There was one professional athlete.
For real?
Guy plays in the MLS who's from actually the town I'm from and who loves Chippo.
Oh, that's cool.
And then Corey Lane, who, if you might know Chris Lane, the country musician.
Oh, yeah.
His brother is the drummer in that band. They play Chippo on the road all the time, the country music guys.
That's badass, dude.
And so he came on and did it. And it was fun, man. It was really fun.
You should do that more. You should do it all the time, like the Chippo challenge and stuff. Once everybody gets their stuff, you could be like, maybe during like Sweet 16 and if there's no basketball, you could do it.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to come on.
I'll do it. I got my Chippo right here.
Yeah.
Check this out, you guys. I had to show Brendan because Brendan hadn't gotten to see it yet, but it's sick. It's so cool. I have 2 of them. The other one's over there, but they customized it. I have an unboxing coming up, and I was like, when I was doing it, I was like, oh, this is so awesome. I was so excited. So let's begin. When did you come up with the idea of Chippo?
So I guess
this is not your day job, right? Like you're not. It's turning into your day job, but your background's not this.
Yeah. So I've worked in finance for about 10 years, and a while ago I went back to school, while I was working full time and got my MBA and met a lot of really smart people and some entrepreneurs and sort of got bit by the bug. I've always wanted to do something entrepreneurial. And so after that, I was just sort of kicking around ideas and this happened to be in my backyard. I come from like a big athletic, competitive family, and every family party, every get together, there's always some sort of a backyard game. So whether that's like cornhole, which I was introduced to in college and fell in love with, or, older school games like horseshoes or, washers or any of these backyard games. So there's always something at a party. And one year, one summer after I had a party at my own house, was in the backyard the next morning, just cleaning up, and the cornhole set was out, and I just happened to have my wedge in my hands, and I started chipping balls at it, and sort of was like, hey, this is actually kind of fun. This could be cool. And so did a bunch of research, and I also have been big into golf my whole life. Never really more of like a casual player, but I've always loved the sport. And did a bunch of research, realized nothing like that had existed. My partner Matt and I built a bunch of prototypes, which was a really fun part. Figuring out the right materials, the angles, the size of the holes, all the stuff that goes into building it was really fun. And then, we got it what we thought was right. We decided to launch through a Kickstarter campaign.
What year was this?
Yeah, we launched that in January of 2017. And we were looking to raise like $12,000 on there. We hit that goal in the first day. Videos on Chippo were picked, our stuff was picked up by like Golf Digest and golf.com and Barstool. And, we were invited up to the Barstool office, and videos on Chippo went viral and reviewed like 10 million times, shared like 100,000 times. And we ended up doing,
like, you hit the jackpot of an idea. Like everyone's like, that is awesome.
It was crazy to watch something that came out of your brain like go viral like that, but it truly was. And we ended up doing through the Kickstarter over $235,000 in 30 days on there.
Holy crap.
Which blew away our wildest expectations and gave us the inkling that we were probably onto something.
Massive, right?
Kept running with it. Yeah.
So that was in January of 17. So then when did you get your first orders? And then, like, not from people, but from like when you had first shipments in?
Yeah. So we fulfilled all of those Kickstarter orders by like June of that year.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, we wanted to try to make sure that it was in for summer. And then actually in July of that first year, another video went viral on Chippo, and we ended up selling through what we thought was our entire summer's worth of product in one day.
Oh my God.
I will never forget that day. It was one of the coolest. We were at an event. It was like a surf competition near our house where there was just a bunch of people on the boardwalk in tents and stuff. And our phone just kept blowing up because we saw all the orders coming in like nonstop throughout the day. And then we ended up selling.
Did you know why it did? Like, or are you just like, what's happening?
Well, we knew that we did a Facebook video, and had like a partner who was promoting it, and it just started going crazy, like millions of views and shares. And at that time, there was nothing really like Chippo out there in the golf world. And so it was crazy. It was a crazy day. We had a couple of beers that day.
Oh, I could imagine. It's cool to hear that because, like, it's kind of like the Cinderella story, right? Like, you always hear about, like, oh, everyone has an invention, but, your guys, like, you had an idea, you figured it out. You're like, this is pretty fun. I'm going to make it. And then it did the Kickstarter, and then it blew up from there on. And it hasn't stopped. I know that, right? I mean, like, I know I've seen like cheap knockoffs, and I'm like, give me a break, dude. That's so unoriginal. Like, oh, there's more holes in it. Oh, that's cool. Good idea. But I mean, like, I don't know. I think it's fun. Number one, I remember when I got it and I was like playing in my garage, and my dad came over and he's like, what's that? And I was like, it's Chippo. And he's like, that's a really good invention. That's a really good invention. He's like 75 years old, right? I'm like, I know. He's like, that's so smart. Oh my gosh. I'm like, he's like, can I have one? And I'm like, no, there's two of them. It's a set. Go buy your own. So, yeah, I think it's fun as hell. So then, like, what did you do once you realized, like, hey, this is a real company? Because you've been everywhere, right? Because you've been invited everywhere to, different tournaments to bring. Like, I know you're telling me you're supposed to go to the Masters this year. Mm-hmm. Like, how are you able to balance all that, dude, and with your normal job too? Because I know you still go in the city, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I used to have hair, and I used to be in relatively okay shape, and I used to sleep. But those things go out the window when you're managing
an entrepreneur. Yeah.
a bunch of stuff and kids and life and everything else. And so you work as hard as you can. There's a lot. The story for us sounds like we just put a Kickstarter up and everything blew up, but there's so much work that goes into even just that, and everything since then, from marketing to logistics to operations to,
running a brand,
social media, and running a brand from A to Z, and making sure the product is perfect. We're very crazy about that. And we're over the top about customer service. I mean, I think if anybody you talk to who's ever purchased a Chippo, from us has positive things to say about us. We care a lot about that. So there's never a shortage of stuff to be done. And we just, keep doing it and doing our best. With the events, like one of the coolest moments for us was when we won Best New Product at the PGA Merchandise Show in 2018.
Holy crap. That's awesome. That's like another award all by itself. That's a big deal, you guys, like super big deal.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was not something that we really expected or anticipated, especially like that was our first year at the PGA show. And so walking into that convention center and seeing like thousands of golf companies and then, going through, I think it was 4 days of constant talking to people and pitching your product and having people play. And we were running like a fun contest. So it got pretty competitive and fun on the floor. And then at the end of that, to get the word that, hey, you guys are going to win this. It was a really, really cool moment of like validation. And then
like you're not some cheap gimmicky thing, right? That like non-golfers just think it's a new thing they can play out in the backyard. Like you're being honored by the PGA, by the actual, like the biggest show of the year, saying this is legit. This is more than something that's just silly. This is something cool, and it's a tool, and it's a game, and you can do it indoors, and it's a practice aid. I mean, it's like, I don't know, it's a massive deal.
Thank you. We should hire you as a salesperson. That was pretty good.
Hey, I'm always here for you, bro. And you too can buy one for 100 and something. I can't remember how much it is, but
yeah, well, we could train you up on pricing. But other than that, was pretty darn good. Yeah, I mean, but that is all true. We also try not to take ourselves too seriously, and I think that's one of the reasons why like people have been attracted to the brand, is because we are sort of it is golf, but we try to be none of the negative things that can typically be associated with golf. I think the perception, and something that we thought about a good deal coming into this, is that, there is a perception out there that golf is, stuffy and boring and time consuming and costly, and, young people don't care, and who has 6 hours on a Saturday to be away from their family, and, rich white guys talking about stocks in a country club, like that sort of stuff. And Chippo is golf, but it's none of those things. It's portable. It's not too expensive. You can bring it and play it anywhere. And I think that's what, when we signed our licensing agreement with the PGA Tour, I think that was one of the things that they really liked about the brand and the product. And that was another cool moment of validation. And so that's what sort of has enabled us to be in person at a lot of these golf events, which obviously this year hasn't been happening, but hopefully that picks up again sometime soon. But yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride for us so far.
So like what made you like really try to, I don't know, catapult this thing? Like, was it when you realized in the backyard that day, like, hey, this is actually pretty fun. I should, and then you kind of got bit by an idea, and then you like, what happened that day when you realized it?
Yeah, that was one of the important days. I would say one of the most important days for us was when we had built what we thought was like our coolest prototype to date, just by like Home Depot.
Was it wood?
It was wood at that point. It was like a poly wood type material. So it was
you could cut it. Yeah.
It was like that wood that could be outdoors and whatever. And because the reaction of the ball off of wood is not as good as the reaction off of plastic, which actually moves a little bit. It feels more like you're actually playing golf when you're hitting it off of something that's made of plastic. But that was one of the reasons why we decided on plastic versus wood. But
plus weight, right? It'd be weight heavy as hell.
Yeah, it's a lot easier. We wanted it to be lighter and more easily transportable, if that's even the word, than cornhole.
It's super light.
But there was one day when we took one of the good prototypes to the beach, and we just started playing it. And after like 15 minutes, there was literally a crowd of people surrounding us and asking, where did you get that? What is that? Where can I get one? And we just sort of had to lie and make stuff up because
you didn't want me to steal the idea.
We didn't want anyone to steal the idea. And we figured out that day, like, we're never going to bring this out in public again. And maybe we are actually onto something here. And then, the Kickstarter, obviously you never know if your idea is going to, take off or if people are going to like it or what's going to happen. You believe that it's going to, or else you wouldn't invest all the time and effort and capital. But when the Kickstarter started going crazy and we had 1,200 plus orders come in 30 days, we were like, all right, maybe we really should keep going with this.
I was talking to Palm Golf, the glove company, and they did Kickstarter too. And they had the same kind of story where it just blew up and they had no idea. They realized, holy smokes, like we're onto something here, And I think Kickstarter is a good way for people to test ideas as well. I mean, not really test it, but like you spend a lot of time and money trying to come up with an invention or an idea. But like I think with Kickstarter that you're able to see right away within a month, I guess, whether or not it's even going to sell, right? I mean, because if nobody cares about it and they're like, why am I spending more money or time on this? Or it's not good enough or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, because you guys have been everywhere. I mean, I've seen you guys all over the place actually. I get excited when I see it. Cause like, aren't you at like Top Golf or I've seen it at Top Golf?
Yeah.
Like not the one I saw you at, but I mean other ones. And just like, I feel like you probably have a lot of diverse buyers, right? From everything from like normal mom and pop people like us, to companies wanting to have it in their office or something.
It's been fun to see the different types of people who like the game and like the company. And it's, when we started it, I think we initially thought that like, your typical 18 to 34-year-old would be our main audience, more like a party game or a drinking game or some just to casually mess around with. But we've actually found that early on, even at like our first PGA show where, there's a lot of teaching professionals attend that. And so we had people coming up to us saying, I use this with my juniors when I'm in my junior camps and junior lessons because, they want to just sit there at the driving range and hit driver all day, but they gotta, we want them to work on their short game as well. And this like sort of gamifies the idea of working on your short game, and it's a game that they all understand and they all have seen their uncles and aunts and cousins play in the backyard, so they get the rules and everything.
Well, it's addictive too.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, it's like cornhole, right? When you see a cornhole thing, you're at someone's house or you're at some place, like I'm gonna do that, even though you might not even like playing cornhole. Or like I just feel like my kids are always playing it in my garage. I mean, it's perfect for COVID right now. And it's hot out in Arizona. Like it's the perfect game, right? Because like you can do it indoors and it's a fun game we all can play.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's been the COVID point is we've had a crazy run with all this going on. I mean, you never want like a global health pandemic to be
right.
that impacts your sales in a positive way. But we've had such crazy demand throughout all of this because we've had awesome emails and reviews from customers too, saying like, we were going a little bit crazy. We found this online, bought it, and now we have something to do every night in the backyard and the whole family plays. And like, thanks for creating a great game. Like those sort of emails are just great to see.
It's like you bridge the gap, right? Like you bridge the gap from a game to a training aid. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't think of any other product ever created that's done that. And it's a whole other category too, because the person who might not even play golf might buy the Chippo because they're like, I want it for my backyard. Right. Or, I just think it's cool. I don't know. Personally.
Thanks, man. Well, yeah, that's awesome to hear. Again, your check is in the mail for the new sales.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean,
but we, that's a good, like we've definitely had, I've seen just around me and in some of the events we've done, people who don't play golf, who have never played golf, come up and try it. And, it's hard at first. Golf isn't easy, but we're only talking about like a 15-foot shot. And if they can do it a few times and get used to it, they start to like it. And, if that leads to them actually buying a Chippo set and playing, that's great. If it leads to them going to the driving range and then eventually getting on the golf course, Chippo, like I think one of the things that places like the tour and the PGA Tour and some of our other partners have liked about Chippo is that, with this game, you see people with clubs in their hands at the park, at the beach, at a backyard barbecue, where historically you probably hadn't seen that.
Never. Yeah.
Like it's a fun game that allows people to be playing golf in a way that's less time consuming, costly, and all the stigmas we talked about before aren't really there.
What I think is cool that you guys did too, and I did the unboxing because I was surprised. I didn't really realize it. But like on the backside of the Chippo set, like you have the pad, the extra pad, right, for bonus points. But like even if you didn't want to use that, but you were at a place where you couldn't really chip, like you had a hard floor or something like that, you could use that as your launch point, which I thought was like, it was like an added feature. I was like, oh, that's cool. Cause I had no idea that you like even did that. And I was like, why is this here? And then I went to the website and I was like, oh, that's why. And then it's like, oh, it's for bonus points. But I was like, it's like a multifunctional pad. And it's not some cheap ass pad either. It's not like, oh, it's made of like that foamy stuff. It's like hard grass, like the stuff you would buy for any kind of chipping pad, really, or hitting pad.
Yeah, that was a key idea was to include the hitting mat or pad with the game, and there's two of them included with the game. And so for people who don't know, there's a full Chippo set is 2 Chippo boards. Each board has 3 holes. The holes have netting attached to catch scoring shots. The front of the board is covered in artificial turf, so it's sort of like playing golf. And when the balls hit, you get some really cool spins and bounces and rolls. It has foldable legs that are made of steel that fold under. And then it also comes with 2 chipping pads that you use so that you can play on any surface. You can play in your backyard without destroying your grass. You can play at a tailgate party. You can play at the beach.
Yeah, I pulled it up so people can see it on YouTube.
Nice.
I learned that yesterday, because I was on the call with Lab, and I was like, I wonder if I could share the screen and viewers could actually see it. And then it worked. And I was like, oh man, that's rad. Now when people explain stuff, they can actually just see what we're talking about. But yeah, those pads we were talking about. And they're like, actually, there's like these like clips on the back of the board that will hold it to the board.
Yeah.
Which is super cool, I think.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how many emails we get from people who are like, you didn't send me the hitting mats. And then you just have to say they're on the underside of each board. And oh yeah, they're there.
Where's the rules one? I'd like, how to play.
How to play.
I was going to ask you about this. I mean, I already know how to play because I looked it up. So like, here's how you play. I'll let Brendan explain. So pretty much all you do is you have to put the boards 15 feet apart. But I think it's cool, I was going to ask you anyways, is like with the scoring, like how did you come up with the idea of like doing the bonus point, like the multiple points? Or how did you even come up with the point structure anyways?
Yeah. I mean, I've been playing backyard games my entire life. And whether that's like a spike ball or a can jam or just, the staples like horseshoes or cornhole. We like the idea of, in cornhole, if you hit the board, if the bag lands on the board, it's a point. So we wanted to have some sort of consolation for just being able to hit, because it's not easy to hit a 2x4 target in golf, even if it's just 15 feet away. So just hitting the board on a fly is 1 point. If it lands in the middle hole, it's 3 points, and the top 2 holes, which obviously are harder to get, are 5 points. And then you can see there that if you can bounce it off that front mat, so if you could hit like a 12-inch by 12-inch square and then get it to go hit the board or go in any of the holes, it doubles your score for that
That's
shot.
hard as hell. I mean, like...
Yeah, it's hard, but I've seen we've done events with golf pros, and some of them can actually do it pretty consistently, and they're no fun to play against.
No, it's like it's like you playing a ringer when you play pool. You're like, nah, dude.
Yeah. So that's how we did it. And then just coming up with it, you have a lot of games out there where there's some sort of a way to amplify points or do something that
multipliers and stuff.
Multipliers, yeah. So that's where we wanted to introduce that. We knew the mats were going to be there anyway because you're going to be playing back and forth. So
I didn't even think about that really, because you just pull the mat over when you're flipping it around. But I didn't even think about that until you said that now. I was like, well, that's not really fair for the person because they don't get to hit off a mat now. I'm like, oh, they just push it over. Oops. Yeah, I mean, I play it all the time. I mean, I'm not good at getting the multiplier. I can pretty much hit like the 3 at most of the time. I get pretty excited when I hit the 5, because the 5's not smaller, the hole, right? Because the main hole, the 3 hole, how big is that diameter? Is it like 12 inches?
I think it's a little less. I actually don't remember the exact number how big those are, but yeah, the top holes are smaller.
Yeah, they are way smaller
than the middle hole, and then they're up higher on the angle, so it's harder to.
It's a hard shot. I mean, this is you got to be pretty good, like at least to try to hit the hole. I mean, you can also be very lucky as well, but I don't know. I think it's a fun skill competition, but then also like if you're just learning, like trying to get better at chipping and like hitting it routinely in the same spot and controlling the club, it's like perfect,
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
So then this year at the PGA show, did you have a booth? Because I met you at the bar on the way out.
This year we didn't do a booth. This would have been our, I think, 3rd year. We've done it. I think we've done it twice, but we didn't do it this year because
Didn't feel like it.
We just wanted to sort of see if we could just go down there and get away with doing events that weren't on the floor, and so we connected with Top Golf, and we had that cool setup outside of the Top Golf in Orlando where we had the Chippo set up, and it was outside in that patio, and we had a bunch of people come out there and play while they were either waiting to go hit, in their bay at Top Golf or just messing around. And so that was really fun. And then we set up a bunch of meetings with people that we would have met with anyway when we were down there. But, we nothing against the PGA show. We're just wanted
You want to try something different. Yeah.
This year.
I mean, because so Damon and I, we went to Top Golf and we had dinner, and then we were hanging out with all the guys from True Links where we were playing with them over in the bay. And that was fun. And then we were leaving with all of them. That's when I think the competition was already over, and then you were still out there, and that's how I met you. And I was like, hey man, what's going on? And I was like, this is cool. And I'm like, we started just chatting, and then we started like texting and shit. But I mean, I think it's a good idea. I mean, personally, I would never have a booth at the PGA show because why would I? But I think it's better if you're able to walk around and talk to people and see people and hang out. I mean, that's kind of, if you have a booth, you're stuck, right?
Yeah.
For the whole show. But you kind of have to have, some brands have to have a booth. I don't know. I just think that was probably cool that you guys did that. So then you said meetings back at the show somewhere with other brands or people that you work with. And
yeah, we had some cool meetings. We just walked around also. We were able to walk around not being tied to the booth.
Enjoy the show.
It was good. And and just see, what some of the other guys in golf are doing. And we didn't really try too many new products, but we met some great people that we've talked to on the phone or emailed with, and finally got to meet in person.
That's the best part. It's so weird. Cool. I've worked with I don't know, probably 100 brands now in the last year and a half. And I would say a majority of them, probably at least 95% are my friends, right? So I was excited when I went to the show to finally meet these people all around the world that I've done work with. And I was like, it's just cool because you already know them. It's I don't know. It was exciting. That's how I met. And then you introduced, I don't know. I only like spending time with people that are cool and nice because I don't have time for bull crap. So it was just cool to see friends and hang out with friends. And I made even more friends, really. I mean, at the show that I barely even knew, and now I'm really good friends with them. So I think it's really cool.
It's one of the, for me, one of the most fun things about having this and starting this thing, it has been to see the willingness of people to be helpful and to just sort of, whether they like what we're doing or like us or like the product or whatever it is, people have just really since day one in golf, in the sport of golf and the business of golf, have been really, cool to us and willing to help out. And, almost
it's a very small world in golf. And I don't think people realize it. It's super small, at least in the product world, I mean, people go out and work at different companies. I mean, I know people that met at the PGA show because their booths were next to each other. And then now they work for another company. Their friend owns a company. It's hey, come work over here, So it's I think people don't realize how small the world is in golf, and you can easily burn bridges very easily. Just be cool and you won't. That's really what it comes down to. I don't know. That's with the podcast, that's always what I ask people at the beginning of the show, hey, what's the story, right? But really that's the same thing I say when I talk to a brand that's coming to me on Instagram or something. I'm hey, what's the story of your brand? I want to know about this thing. And I'll know by the end of that story, in that first conversation, whether or not they're cool, right? Or they're trying to I don't know, be weird. So I mean, that's the nice way of saying something else. But I mean, that's, if you connect with people, then you're able to you're willing to do the extra stuff for them, right? You want to see them succeed. And I don't know. I have a lot of friends now. It's fun. To me, this is all fun for me, bro. Seriously. So then what's coming down the pipe this year? Because I know you have a bunch of new stuff coming out. You haven't told me exactly, but don't you have some new stuff happening this fall? Because we were talking about it last week. We're on the phone.
Yeah, we're, right now our biggest focus is really, I mentioned we sold out. So we've been running a pre-order. We're getting a bunch of product into our warehouse actually this week and working on shipping all that stuff out to customers who pre-ordered. So that's our main focus, is getting product out to all the people who've pre-ordered it over the last month or so. And then we do have a lot of interesting things in the pipeline here. We've got a great partnership that we're working on that is close to the end that we will be able to talk more about hopefully
Cool.
in the next couple of months. We're always thinking about new products, new things to sell, new things that we're coming up with that we're working on, which hopefully we have some more to talk about that also in the near term here. But yeah, constantly talking to brands that we like and that are aligned with what we do, and figuring out ways how we can help each other and how we can grow and help them grow. So that we definitely have some cool new partnership things coming out here, hopefully pretty soon. And yeah, just continuing to think about ways that we can work off of the success that we've had with our initial game. We've come out with some other products. If you look at our website, we have
I saw that.
carry case. We sell replacement balls. We have we sell stuff like these, like branded insulated drink things and T-shirts and polos and all that stuff. But as far as new types of products, we're working on that as well.
You're always tinkering, right? Always figure out, like everybody. I think it's really true what you just said too. Like, the partnerships you're having with all these other brands, it's like the small brands all stick together, right? The small and mediums. That's what I found. Like, that's who I like to work with the most, because we're all kind of in the same bucket, right? So it's like we're all helping each other in some way. We love doing it. Or we do like co-sponsored giveaways or product stuff. And I don't know, I feel like when you're like, even you were saying before, like you sold out, right? But people understand that pre-order's fine, because we all have that problem. Like we ordered a freaking exercise bike like freaking 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and we still haven't gotten it. Right. And so it's like, but they don't communicate. But as long as you communicate with your consumer, they don't care. They're like, whatever, we understand it's COVID.
Yeah.
But with the small, like, I feel like, and one thing with you guys too, is like, because you're a smaller brand, right? A really small brand, and you have a really big product, that like you're able to be more agile and nimble with your decisions. And you don't have like, you're not the Titanic trying to make a decision during the day.
Yes. Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, we can do really whatever we want. I mean, that's probably good and bad in some ways. But we are definitely able to make decisions quickly, which is positive. And, for those of us who also work in the real world, it's not always the case. So it's a nice change up.
So then how big is the team? Is you and your partner, and you have like fulfillment, or is it you guys doing the fulfillment too?
There's 3 of us right now. We have an outsourced fulfillment provider. So we have a partner who does all our warehousing and fulfillment. Obviously we have helped them build the processes for our product and all that stuff, but that's all outsourced. And so there's 3 of us, and cool. We all wear many, many hats.
Yeah, of course. I mean, every hat you could possibly imagine. Now, also what you guys do is customization too, right? Because that's what you guys did for us. So how does that process work?
Yeah, so that's been something that, like, since day one, we've had questions about, and we built out pretty early on in the process. And in the beginning, it was being done one way. We were just really had like these all-weather decals that got applied to the top part. So what you're looking at now, like that's directly printed on.
I was gonna say it's not some cheap ass sticker, you guys. I was gonna say like this is like printed on. Like it's not gonna come off. If I scratch it, it's not. It's like literally painted onto the thing.
Yeah, it doesn't come off. It's like laser printed or
it's
whatever the technology is. But we have a partner in Tennessee who does all of the printing for us. So he has inventory of our customizable boards. You can see the customizable boards have nothing, where typically the standard Chippo will have Chippo across the top. Custom boards have Chippo on the little back panel, but we put whatever brand and whatever design they want across.
It's like top. Super high quality. It really is. Like you guys didn't skimp. I mean, I'm not trying to sell this. I'm just telling you, like, you guys didn't skimp on what you did, because like the grass that's on it is not some cheap ass grass. It's like the same stuff you would buy when you bought like a really high quality golf mat, right? So the grass on the front, the nets are strong. It's not like the cheap ass crap you get for a basketball set or something for kids. And then they actually laser painted that. Like, I mean, it wasn't like you guys didn't cut corners. Like this is a very high quality product. And that's just the truth.
Thank you. I mean, when we started it, we could have done anything, right? We could have
cut corners and like made it cheap and sold and try to make more money, but you didn't, because you did.
Or we could have not started a company, but we decided that we wanted to, and we wanted to do everything right and according to our own values. And that part of that meant building the best product we can at the best price point that we can so that people can, buy it and have fun with it. And like
And have it for a long time. It's not going to wear out in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And the number one thing that we thought about was playability. Like if this is a game that people are going to love to play and can play for a long time, well, then this has a pretty high chance of being successful. And so there've been some other, like you said, knockoffs and low quality things that have entered into the market since we launched. But, my sense is that some of them aren't doing too well. Some of them have folded. And so I think quality ends up winning most of the time.
100%.
And that's what we're trying to do.
I would agree. I mean, I can't say enough nice things about it because it's really high quality. I mean, it really is. Like that's the truth. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even be concerned with the ones that are coming out now because it's almost like, oh, I'm going to add a couple extra circles or I'm going to do this. But it's like, dude, that's original, like it's like when you see those putting mats, there's like a million different kinds of putting things. I know which one I think is the best one personally. I'm not going to say, but like everyone's coming out with the putting mat or a putting thing. And it's like, that's been invented 100 times. Right. But I don't know. This was like this is a fresh idea that, it's only a 3-year-old company. You're on year 3 and you guys are you're good. You need to stop your finance job, bro. Do this full time.
No comment.
No comment. I know. I always hear that too. Everyone, hey, listen, I'm not, and this is the truth. Everybody and you, like a majority of the people that are running these companies are also having full-time day jobs as well. Right. They just have, that I do too. You just do. I mean, you hope that one day you can get to that point, but yeah. No comment.
In today's world, so much is available to be outsourced, and there's so much technology that's available that enables people to do things that
10 years ago never been able to do.
And so the time associated is not as much as it used to be. However, there are so many opportunities that need to be taken advantage of, and so that's why we hired another person last year to help us with some more of the day-to-day operational customer service type of stuff, which would enable Matt and I to think more about strategic direction and new products and new partnerships and all that stuff. But it's a balancing act that like you said, a lot of people are doing a lot.
Seriously, like everybody. Yeah. I mean, like unless you're a brand that, I only know a couple brands that are not doing it full time. But that's their full time gig, and that's cool and make good money at it. But like a majority of the people I know who started companies are just like us, 100%.
Yeah. Well, it's 2 full-time jobs, right? It's not. I don't do this really on the side, I wouldn't say, and I don't do my time job on the side either. It's you put full-time hours into both of them. And
exactly. I work on my stuff when my kids go to bed, right? That's when I work on it, or early in the morning before I go to work. And I'm gonna work a full day, and then tonight I'll do it's just rinse and repeat. But I enjoy it. Like for you, this is fun, right? Like this is your fun. You're running a business which is fun to you, and it's a fun space to be in. And I think that's key, right? Because if it wasn't fun, you wouldn't be doing. You'd be like, screw that, right? Like, yeah. So and it's successful because of everything you've been doing. So I think like for people who are out there, like, oh, I want to do that someday. Like you can just come up with a good idea, whatever it might be. Like I started doing this stuff 2.5 years ago because I couldn't find good products. That's the only reason why I did it. Did I think now where I would be at? Hell no, I didn't. I didn't think people would even listen to what I'm talking about. So I just think like that's the key, because it's really, you'd be surprised how easy it is to get things manufactured. It's a lot of work, I figured out, but also like graphics and video, like the world's a different place, than it was when we were younger. So
it's definitely not easy, and it's there are a lot of challenges, but there's also, in doing something that's challenging and also fun at the same time, there's a lot of validation that can come from that. And, this stuff that we love is like the award, the PGA
that's a big freaking deal.
Award was big, but then also, something as little as when I see a notification that we got a new review on, we use even our reviews. So you can use different companies to do reviews on your website. We elected to use a company that is completely independent, and I have no control over any of the reviews. You know, when
That's
you
cool.
go to a website and you see 400 5-star reviews and no 1-star reviews, like a lot of times companies can review the reviews before they publish them.
Not the bull crap.
The one that we use, it's all out there. And so when I see a notification come through on that a new review was posted, and I go and check it out, and it's something like what I was talking about earlier, where we've had people say, you know, we absolutely
Thank
love
you.
this product. It's got
Yeah.
us through COVID. Like that's stuff that people have literally said. And to hear something like that about a silly game that came out of your brain a couple of years ago is really, almost more validation than anything else. So it's been cool to see that happening recently as well.
No, that's like a compliment on top of it, right? That's the real validation is when someone comes to you and says thank you. Like I
Yeah.
have another company that I run with my partner, and we got an email like that last night where someone was like, "This is the best thing have ever been invented." You say, whatever they said. And I was like, and then we texted back and forth, and he's like, "Holy crap!" I'm like, "Yeah, I know. This is awesome." Like just that validation, like your idea worked and it made somebody happy, right?
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing. So I totally understand on that.
And it's the idea, but I think more so it's the execution, because you could have said I want to do a podcast and a review website and everything that you're doing 3 years ago, and put in a little bit of time into it, and probably would have faltered after a couple months and you would have given up. But if you have a decent idea, it's like 2% idea and then 98% execution and hard work. And that's one of the
Oh,
things that I've
100%.
sort of learned as well, is that you can't drop the ball at any of the steps along the way. And
It's all about quality, quality, quality.
yeah,
Like I think that's how I 100% agree. Like you can half-ass it and people are going to see it's a half-ass product, right? I'm always trying to like make, just for us, like we're always trying to make it like better. Like if I do an unboxing video, it's like not like me in a camcorder, or like I'm willing to spend all my own money to make a high quality product so that people can actually view or listen to or hear or whatever it might be, because I want it to be good. I don't know. I just do. I don't know. It's like the same thing with you. It's like you can do it half-assed, but then those are the same people who complained. Like some people complain to me and they're like, "I don't get any downloads on my podcast, and I've been doing it for a year." I'm like, "Well, do you do this, this, and this?" They're like, "Well, no." I'm like, "Well, there you go, dude.
yeah,
Like, watch a YouTube video. It'll tell you how to do it, right?" Like, I don't know. That's just
yeah. That's another thing, is that there's so much information available out there. Like one part of it is a lot of people are willing to help you, and if you just reach out and ask, they will. The other thing is that there's just so much information available out there on the internet that you can go find on your own to help you get something off the ground.
like so like with a podcast, like literally I was in bed. It was 1 o'clock in the morning at the PGA show, and I like had this epiphany, and I was like, I should do a podcast because I like talk to everybody anyways. This is no different than my conversations I had with all these brands. I got to shoot the shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, it'd be kind of cool to do that. But I knew nothing, like zero. And then the next day I was in the Seymour Putters booth, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we have a podcast." And I was like, "Really?" And then like, "Yeah." And then like they're like, "We'll help you. We'll teach you how to do it." I was like, "Really?" So then they started helping me out, but you still have to spend the time to like figure it, like, you still have to learn it, right? But they'll like people guide you, which they did. And then you still got to spend time doing the research to find out what's best for you, what you can afford. But I mean, I can't believe, like I said, I always kind of joke around now because it was like a joke. I'm like, "Oh, what episode am I on?" "Oh, I'm on episode 12 or 11 or whatever we're at today. I can't remember." But it's like, holy crap, I've done that many already. And the first one's pretty rough, but I mean, you learn from each one. So it's like make it better and better. So
Well, 12 is a good number. That's the number I wore in all my sports growing up in high school and college.
really?
So
So yeah,
yeah.
dude, you know how freaking weird this is? Okay. No, I'm not joking. This is the second time this has happened with the podcast. So you see, like, you're number 12, right? And then it's like your favorite number, right? It's so random, dude. Like, what are the odds? And then I had a podcast number 9, which hasn't been released yet. It was with golfers, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, number 9 is my favorite number." He's like, "It's always my numbers growing up." I'm like, "What are the freaking odds of that?" I don't know.
Right. No, it's meant to be.
Just like on me meeting my way out of freaking Top Golf and being like, and then I find out you're the guy who like owns the company. I'm like, "Hey, what game is this?" And you're like showing me. I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." And then we start shooting it. So I don't know. You guys make a cool product. You're going to be, I already know you guys are already big, but I think this is like massive. This is like one of those ideas are just massive.
Thank
And
you.
I really do. I mean, you're super, super, super high quality, you guys. I mean, and that's the truth. No BS. It really is. And it's a fun game. Your whole family will love it. My family loves it. You can take it to the beach. You take it to the park. You can put it in your backyard. You can do it indoors. I mean, you have to do some pre-ordering right now, but guess what? That's what it is with every product you buy. So that's just the way it is right now. I hate that too with COVID. But I'm telling you, I would pre-order one. I mean, I already have one, but if I didn't have one, I would probably pre-order one right now just because it's that fun. And so, but thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah.
I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate, us giving us a chance to review the Chippo earlier this year and go out and buy one, you guys. Like, seriously.
Thank you, man. Well, I appreciate you too, Paul. Congratulations on everything that you've done, and thank you for having me and for all the kind words about Chippo. And yeah, man, thanks a lot. Thanks for having
Cool,
me.
bro. All right. Well, thanks for being on the show today.
All right, see ya.
Bye.